Okay, so it's only 3 in the morning, but I've already been up 2 hours. So I was like, I gotta get this done because already it's like, oh my God. And one of the things I'm gonna talk about is like, but there's a couple of things. One of the things last night, this is foolish. So I kept seeing these people talking about putting the castor oil and the medical tape on your wrinkles, and it makes your wrinkles magically go away overnight. And I kept seeing these videos and seeing these videos, and I had castor oil because I used it on my face every day, and I had medical tape. So I thought, well, I'm just gonna try it and see what happens. And even when I was doing it, I could hear it was almost like my guides tried to talk logic to me, and I was like, no, I'm gonna try it. And they're just like, okay. And but I feel like the information was there. And this is something that happens to me all the time. When I do something stupid, if I really take the time and I think about it, it's like they told me ahead of time. I could have listened, but I still made the choice. Just like when I was 3 years old, I still made the choice to do the thing. And so I I put my castor oil on my face and whatnot. And then I pull the tape, you got to pull this wrinkle and you're supposed to tape it. And then right here and right here, right here. Let's see, where did I put the tape? I think I put the tape across here, right here, right here, right here, and right here. So my face was taped up, bitch. And so, and I was like, okay, well, let's just see what this magic happens. And then whenever I spend time outside, and I know we're being sprayed 100%. Yesterday, like there's all sorts of things that I know, but, yesterday I was out at my garden and I had said like those 2 trees across the street that all of a sudden just went dead. And then right across the street is my garden. And in my garden, there was a plant that turned the same color as their trees. And so, what I went through last year, I was like, no, that was the year before. Was it? Fuck, God damn. I don't even know. You have to go to the replay. I'm so fucking lost in time at this point. Because they sprayed the trees the one year in September, and then everything started dying, and then it went through all the winter and stuff, and then when spring came, it was like all last summer was like winter. It was dead. Everything was dead. And it was so creepy. And I was like, I don't even know what's going to happen. How in the hell are we going to come back from this? Like, what in the world are we going to do? So, yeah, now we're going into this summer. And it's lush and green. But then those 2 things died. And this is tripping me out, too. Because, like, I'll walk around and I'll see something like that. And I'll be like, I don't know how to explain it. But it's like these 2 realities pulling towards each other and fighting to be the reality space. And so but across the street, so where my plants were, there was something that was sprayed. It was like the top of a plant, and it was all like the same color. So I cut it off, and I was like, I'll have to watch that. Well, now there's a whole bunch down below where it was of these leaves that have turned totally brown, crisp brown. And so I got one yesterday. I put it under a cup. I need to have, there's different things around here. I need to have chemical check. And the water company, and they sent us some jackety ass fucking message, I don't remember, telling us how great our water was the other day. And so I sent back and I said, well, why does the water stink? And why does it feel slick? And, well, I don't know what your experience is, why you would have that experience with the water. We have got great water. So I don't remember our other little bullshit thing. And right in the EPA report, it says full of nitrates and nitrites and nitrates, which is all causes cancer. So bullshit with your fucking. So I sent back and I said, where does the water come from? Because she's like, our water's so clean and perfect. Where the fuck does it come from, bitch? Did it come from the fucking sewer? Because you're charging us $150 to take the sewage and turn it into our water, and you're going to sit there and tell me it's all clean and good and it's got no chemicals and there's no reason I should smell chemicals unless my pipes in my house are bad? Piss off. It's bullshit. I swear to God, and this is where you start thinking, okay, are you this dense? Are you playing a part, or you have awareness? And this is, I mean, there's going to be people who are going to come out who are playing in it, who who didn't give a fuck. Man, yes, the other day when I was walking, I was thinking about this HOA. It's like a newsletter. Most of the stuff I get in the mail, I just go straight in the trash. Yesterday, my daughter said, "What's going on with the house?" I'm not acknowledging them. I'm not giving them my energy. And I'm not going to sit here and stress out about them and stuff like that. I believe that their hands are tied. I don't think that they can come at me with the judicial and file and foreclosure. They'd have to do corrupt shit. And judges and shit are going down. It's all around us. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But, I mean, people's houses, their school, all these things are going to zero all the time. So this shit is going down. And the whole thing with Kim Jong-un, whatever the fuck, his big threat. See, now we got it. Putin, I mean, and who knows, next are we going to have, so... North Korea, Russia, and China are all going to tell Joe that they're going to, annihilate us. Is that what we're going to have to go to each step to get people's attention? Because everybody's just, hey, what are you going to do? Going to go to the club tonight? Yeah, what are you going to wear? Oh, yeah, well, it's just like, oh, God damn, those shallow motherfuckers. So, anyways, God, now I'm going to start skipping all over the place. Okay, so the weather, sitting outside, I know that there's chemicals. And then I come in and I get all stopped up. I've been sitting here sneezing and coughing and these sneeze attacks. And that's the worst, too, is when I feel them wiggling around on my face. And then I just start sneezing. It's like, ugh. And sitting outside, they fucking... is nonstop. Things flying up my nose, flying into my eyelashes and trying to get into my eyes, flying into my ears. And it's like, what do these like little bot things have? A honing device? And they just know right where to aim? It's like, what in the hell? And I 100% believe that they're some sort of neobot. They're an artificial parasite that they've created. And it's all a science experiment. It wouldn't surprise me if there's several different ones. And there's more footage of this shit, like where people are getting this shit and getting under microscopes and stuff. God, my nose is just dripping now. And right after all the sneezing, because it loosens this shit. They burrow around in there, and then whatever, and then it starts making me sneeze and sneeze. It still is like I do the black seed oil every day too, but anyways, it's poisonous. Our body's reacting to poison. It starts doing all of that stuff to try and get like all the mucus and stuff, is to move like a carrier agent, to move the toxin away from you. And that's why I think they're using the mucus inside our body as a carrier agent for their parasites. See, they've been doing this stuff. They know exactly what they're doing. And some of these parasites, man, they're gruesome looking at it. You see them up close. This guy was like, this is what people are talking about when you're fighting the demons, is they look like demons. And they can control you. They can control you neurologically. They can control your mind. All this stuff, kind of like with dark energy. And so are they using this dark energy in fractals and putting it into us to try and take the host, and a simple-minded person or somebody who's disconnected from themselves, is like an NPC person who is not firing on all cylinders, then they can easily be managed by an artificial means. So, man, I don't know. I know that they're spraying shit on us or some kind of chemical or something, because I think it's like drugs and stuff. It's like, but like when they do this to these small towns and stuff, these rural towns, because it could be in the water, too. But there is, that it's over years. They don't just wipe a whole town out in 2 weeks. They do it over time, slow. Because I've met people who it has happened to in Spokane, and I've talked about this before. But when I had my tattoo shop, next door was the trophy shop, and I would talk to the trophy guy sometimes, and he grew up there on the river, because we were right on the river in Spokane, and the paper mill is on the river. And so all the kids that grew up on the river, they would play out there in the water and stuff like that. The paper mill was, just flushing their shit right into the river. And it turned all of that really toxic. And all of the people, all those kids grew up and got the exact same cancer. And then they have to fight for the thing. But so that's how they do it, is that, and that is what Aaron Brockovich showed and stuff like that. That's how they do it. And they think they can get away with stuff. And right now, though, they're purposely doing it, because it's about the reduction in population. So they're purposely doing it or speeding it up or trying to take out a lot of people at once. And they're taking out a lot of people at once, too. What did I just hear? Something in California, where a whole bunch of people are going. Like, there's a lot of people going that we're not hearing about, because they only tell us the things that work, to how they, their manipulation and stuff like that. But one thing is so there's all this smoke again over there, like by Michigan and stuff. And so I saw in Quebec, supposedly, this footage was outrageous, but supposedly it was Quebec, and the people were running, and I mean, the whole fucking thing was on fire. It was like, what in the hell? Why would you be there that long? Why wouldn't you have evacuated way sooner? Like, they're running down the street screaming, and the flames are everywhere around them. And so whatever that marketing thing is Quebec is burning down and everybody's getting killed. But so that was the fires where I saw in Canada. So, I mean, you still don't know if, it's not like I'm seeing people in Canada now has cut itself off. Now you have to go through the government for your social media. So they've got big trouble. But they've been getting hit so hard. And they have stood up for themselves. Like, fuck, man, I don't know the energy there. But I did see a map that is more of what we really are more like when they do it, like the toroidal kind of field thing, how it really is. And it is like what I was saying about how some of us are closer to the edge or something. Like there's weird things, because in the way that how the earth, or how we really are structured more than this globe, is it kind of goes inverted. And so we kind of are inside. And so it's kind of like, that's what I'm saying. It's weird how they tell us to travel, all of this stuff. Like, there's going to be, I think there's going to be so much that we're going to all of a sudden see, that we put the pieces together. We saw what they told us to see. And we did what we were told, like the same thing with travel, all this stuff. And you watch and see how we're going to find out how we could have been using portals and stuff much differently, and moving around differently. But it was all this evolution, this opportunity for all these souls to advance. This is a profound time. And so, all the things that are happening are supposed to happen the way they're happening. But so over there where the smoke is, which who fucking knows if They can goddamn pump out smoke over a place. Yeah, I mean, and I know they do it here sometimes. And our sky right now is so fucking weird. It's so fucking weird. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like it divides. It's like a couple of different ones, and then it's different layers and levels. It's like it is just like other realms opening up. But a lot of their stuff is this artificial creation. But so this guy over like by Michigan or something. So all these people are talking about the smoke. They can't even be outside. It is so bad, and they're feeling so unhealthy and stuff. Which I swear to God, it still is only like at a 210, and I can't even tell you how high it's been over here. So I don't even know what the numbers, and maybe it's just like over on the West Coast, we just got so used to it being smoky so much that it was like 200, that's nothing, go. And over there, they're like 200, we're dying. I don't know. Like some of this stuff is like, what? Everything is just like, everything is making you have to look at so many things where it's like kind of confusing, like, but, so all these people are having to stand. So this guy, he's obviously a sky watcher, and he knows about Nibiru and stuff like that. And he said that the other day they got like a tornado warning or something. He said the alarms started going off and told everybody, get in your house, get in your house. And he said it, didn't make any sense. And so he was like looking out the windows and stuff. He was trying to see. And he said, you could totally see there was two totally different light sources up in the sky. And so they're doing some of these things to try and get people indoors. And it is kind of like, so they've lied to us so long. They're trying to hide stuff going on. They're dragging it out instead of telling us. And it's like a liar who just keeps on lying and lying and lying and lying. It's like, dude, like, fuck. Like, how far do you think you can take your lie? And so, like, the stuff is being seen, and they keep fucking lying. So, anyways, if you're in a place where they're smoking you out and stuff like that, see, I just feel so certain it's like however it's moving is wherever there's a lot of interference, and when they can't interfere, they will do an alert, hurry, everybody get in your house. And so but it's the stuff in the sky. So the stuff in the sky is really heating up. Maybe that will be the thing. Maybe the sky is just going to open up, and it's going to be where everybody starts to see. I don't know. It's so there's just so much. There's so much going on. It can be anything, but I think it's going to be just so many things too. Like it's going to be like so much at once. But man, I don't know. It just feels like to me that the government and the money and all that has to crash independently from the sky opening. It seems like there's, step 1, step 2, step 3. Step 1, everything crashing. Step 2, the sky opening, and in the solar flash. And, so the solar flash and the sky opening could be this, the solar flash opens the sky. That is the big flash, as everything just flashes in the sky. And when we look up, it's, everything's gone. The firmament, maybe it's going to rain on us or something. But there has to be this other part where the stuff crashes. I don't know. And people keep saying like there's going to be months of us not having power, which, I don't know. I don't think it would be that long, because I just don't think so. I think it's going to go faster than that. I think we're going to go on to free energy, resources, all the resources and stuff. Oh yeah, because it was pissing me off about the HOA thing and the money and just the corruption. I mean, it was a golf course. This place was fancy when it started just 25 years ago, and then a golf course, indoor swimming pool, and stuff like that. And it's just all gone to shit. They want us to just keep paying more and more to the fees and stuff. And when I moved, and I was looking for a place, I wanted one that was no way. It wasn't even on the Zillow or anything. I was shocked when I found out when they sent me a bill on the HOA. So there is the mass corruption in all of our stuff, but it's all going to be going away. Like all of these different things, like the lady at the water thing, who thinks like she's, who the fuck knows? Well, you're not gonna have a job soon. So many people aren't. We're not going to be drinking sewer water anymore. That is going to be the end of drinking sewer water. It's going to be the end of having chemically treated water. We're not going to be living that way anymore. I saw a thing about that the earth is pulsating water up into certain areas, and even with miners and stuff, there'd be so much water coming through the walls and stuff. The earth has got so much water, it's trying to feed us all the time, but then they don't want to hide the resources and tell us that there isn't any, so that they can control them and tax them and short us and all that stuff. So it's all that water bullshit is going away. So people like that, they're not gonna have jobs, all these things. And I don't know if it's going to be a big fat sweep, because the money crash thing will be, who's going to go to work when there's no money? You can't go in these stores, you can't go buy anything, you can't go get gas. It will dead stop everything from moving, and then everybody has to see like how reliant on it. So like there's a process that we had to go through, and I get that, but I don't think it's going to be like a couple of months. Like it's going to, and it'll probably be different in different places. Like it's already starting in some places. And so some places are already, shorted and, utter chaos. And so, it's going to be different in different places, all depending on what the energy of that place is that needs to purge. And it is curious, like, because you are around souls that, you've been in other lives with. And so, whatever has gone on in other lives that you guys are, it's going like full circle. It's just completing cycles. And so, that's why people are in certain areas is completing cycles. Like if you were in that area before with these other people, only you were living out something else, but now it's going to go the other way. It's flipping the other way. And so you're there for that process to go full circle. Or it can be the certain things that you had experienced, but then going and being in that place with the energy being purged there was going to be what you also needed to use for what you're trying to heal and clean up. So you could be having things from a different life, a different place, but that you're in that space, so that when the things that are happening there brings up the things that you're trying to cleanse. And so it is, it's still, it works for you, for your purging out your stuff. So there's a lot of stuff. Like everything is so complex and complicated going on. It's so much more. See, humans are so surface, so superficial, so artificial. They're not deep. I mean, they've got to learn how to be deep. They've got to, they can be, but most of them just don't want to be. I'm not sure why, because that was always a thing that I was told forever and ever. You're too deep. Man, that's heavy. Oh, man, God, we talk about weird shit, always. And so, I don't know. People just want to be shallow and surface. To me, that's like why these certain souls are here to ascend at this time. Like, I don't know every single detail about every single thing. I just can see, like, I can know some of the stuff. The stuff I know, to me, it seems like it is like more peaceful. It can give you peace, because I think so many people feel so much pressure and scared about everything, and because they have no connection to themselves and to, like, to me, it's important just ask yourself, what is the purpose? Like, why would this happen? Why would that happen? Like, just looking into things deeper. But I don't know. I swear it kind of trips me out. Like, I don't really like to go into it too much and think about it too much, because it kind of makes me feel like I'm in open water in my mind or something, when I try and understand how other people perceive and see and how they are functioning. Like, I don't know. I just, when I hear people talking and the stuff that they say and stuff, I just feel like I'm just functioning very, very different. Yeah, I just see things very different. I don't, so it is, I just know it isn't for me to sit back in the dark anymore. It's definitely not for me to sit back and judge people. It is for me to be out, talking, so that people who also think differently can also feel like, oh, okay, I'm not that weird. There's another person who thinks differently. Because I feel like that in this world where it has been so superficial and shallow for so long, is that now that, like I've been talking about, like the role model switch, but it's the whole content. It's like we go from this shallow, like a pretty on the surface, but no content, into a deep into integrity, like where there's a real thing, a role model to look up to follow the path, to try and replicate the it's not like copying somebody's life or walking their path, but it's like a role model. It's like it was different back, like when I was a kid. Like, there was role models for boys, which then they turned it into, oh, well, that's toxic and masculine and that's overbearing, all the stuff that they started saying and stuff. But it like John Wayne and stuff like that, Jimmy Stewart, Henry Ford, Henry Ford. I think Henry Ford might have been, I think he might have been a good guy, got turned bad. But sometimes you had no choice, because if you had the money, there was like, it'd be like you would be one against all of it, because the people who hold the money, they're their own gang. So if you get some money, then you got to go up against this gang. And some people, they, there's pressure put on them and are forced, because, I know who he supplied during World War II, but, like, but Henry Fonda and stuff. So but there were role models where boys could look at him and like, oh, that's a man. That's how a man is, And but they were respectful. Gregory Peck, like the stuff that I grew up on, where it showed men how to be, to me, Gregory Peck in The Killing Mockingbird, he was like the perfect man. That was like, to me, as who I wanted to find to be the father of my children. I couldn't find him, but he was, but I mean, I wouldn't have been able to match that energy. I would have been toxic to him. So, but anyways, to me, there was like a role model thing. And then they turned the role models into like, Kim Kardashian, Lindsay Lohan, Paris Hilton, who for the guys, like the guys, Harry Styles, like guys wearing dresses. They got fucking Pharrell now out at a fashion show wearing a dress. Like, they're just, yeah, if you want to make it in this world, you better be gender bending to follow orders. You better, get in there with what agenda they're pushing. And a big agenda, transhuman, they don't want humans to be able to procreate for themselves, or, they need us to be dependent, reliant on them. So otherwise they don't exist without us. They don't know how to fucking take care of themselves. They're parasites. So, so the sky thing, and the energy thing. So, and it's not being able to go to sleep. Did I even say? No, I finished about the tape thing. So I put all the tape on my face and went to bed. And then it was like I kept on being awake. Like, I don't know. That's what I was going to say about the energy. Because I kept on feeling like I was awake or something. But I would be sleeping, I think. I don't know. But I kept being aware of the tape and stuff. So I kept feeling it. And I think, oh, I'm just going to take it off. It's so uncomfortable. It tightens on your face. And so I was like, oh, this is so uncomfortable. So finally I did get up at like 1 in the morning and went and started taking it off. It hurt so bad to take off. It's like ripping your skin off. And then your face has all this adhesive on it. So I was like, oh my gosh. So the castor oil pulls the adhesive off the tape, fills in the lines, and people think that that is good. And it was like, I couldn't even lay back down. I had to go in and scrub my face with, and there's still stickiness. You know, just like when you pull a label off of a jar and it's got that stickiness. So it leaves that all over your face. And so you got this adhesive, and it would like rip off your skin when you're doing it. So then that adhesive, I'm never doing that again. That's for sure. I'll just put the castor oil on like I always do, but I'm not putting any fucking tape on it. I thought maybe it holds it in, makes it really, because there's this whole thing about castor oil wraps. And you put the castor oil on, you put wraps, and then you can look up about it. It helps a lot of different ailments. And so I thought, well, maybe it's the tape holds it, but they were telling me adhesive, it was going to pull the adhesive off on your face. And I was like, oh, yeah, well, let's see about that. My 3-year-old self. So, yeah, that's what it did. Pulled adhesive off all over my fucking face. So, no, hell no to that bullshit. And it's painful. And then so I saw this video too, where this guy was talking about the energy out there is making it where people can't sleep and stuff. And I think he was the guy who was saying that he was looking outside when they did the alarm thing. And he said, you could see, was he saying you could see other planets? And so I saw a bunch of different people saying different things, but there was different people saying they could see the planets and stuff up there. And so, and yesterday when I was outside, you couldn't see it over here. So see, there is some sort of movement because it wasn't behind the sun. And but then it's being heavily seen over there. But so then it will probably, however long it's over on that side, then it will come back over here. But then they'll do something, they'll spray the sky so you can't see over here. And so wherever it goes, they'll go in and spray. So they keep trying to cover it up. But it's getting closer and closer, and more people are paying attention. And it's going to, everything's going to change because they've been lying about what the world was. And so we're going to have to see what the world was. And there's going to be no hiding it. And I told my daughter again, I said, we had a whole conversation about it yesterday. And about the journaling. I said, you really should journal through this because you're going to really appreciate it when you see. Because this part of the awakening, so she just doesn't know. She doesn't understand. Like, she's been doing healing and stuff. That's why I said there's a lot of people who have been doing healing and these other parts, but they just haven't woke up. Even when they think like, yeah, I understand. Yeah, I know it's corruption. Yeah, but you just don't get it. You don't get it until all of a sudden you see and you wake up. And all of a sudden you realize this world is fake as fuck. And I've been living in a fake fucking world. Like, there's a whole thing that happens. And so, yeah, everybody has to go through that. And then there's people, who see that part, but they don't see the spiritual part. They don't see that this is like a cosmic lesson. This is a lesson plan. This is an opportunity for growth. They are so trapped in fear. And then just like, nonstop, just pointing out what to be scared of. And, oh my God, you guys, you know what they're going to do next? They're going to lock us down. And now we're going to have to eat all this lab meat and stuff. Stop eating meat. Stop eating meat. And then they can't do that. Start getting your own chickens. Grow your own chickens. Get your own cow. And there's people who have property who, start getting people, like the woman over here who I knew, the small farmer, she was going to get a cow. And so then she was going to have other people could have their cow there. And so like pay a rental fee to let your cow be there and graze and be pasture. But then when you're ready to go and, kill it, then, it's up to you to go and do all that. And then that's also a way to keep yourself cut off, because you can't, raising a cow, you can't kill it. I've known people who have raised them, and you can't, well, I mean, some people can't. Some people can, but you raise them, you start seeing they have personalities, and they're sweet, and they want to be loved, and they want to hang out with you. And so people who I've known who tried to raise a cow thought, that they would raise their own, and then it became a relationship and became friends with it and didn't want to kill it and stopped eating meat. So that's the thing, is where, people have relationships with their chickens and stuff. Like, I couldn't kill a chicken. That's why I still going to have to go vegetarian. Like, I can go down the store and get the ones that they've already killed. And, they're just going to just throw all this shit away. They throw away so much food. And what's really disgusting too is when you see what, like in the old pictures and stuff, and what the cities used to look like when there was male and female trees in all our cities, and everything was lined with fruit trees and berry bushes, and like nobody would ever go hungry. You never had to look for, there's food just on the streets, just everywhere around, and the stuff just grew. And but that's why, when there's reset to make us dependent, like who knows how it all goes or how it all went down. But, this was this big draw to try and make us fully dependent. And for sure, to me, that the people who are going to be passing, I just feel like I have to say, like, this disclosure part of, if your family member passes and you feel like that they were really awake and they were really spiritual, and it's very confusing to you, then they're playing a part. But I think the majority of the people who are going to pass are going to be people who are just low vibrate. They're just still super, like, superficial and shallow and stuff like that. People that you see who are like that. And I don't know, like with kids and stuff, it's more of an attitude. There's going to be an attitude that is going to get a wake up, a shocking wake up. And there's going to be an attitude that is just the planet's done with. So it's going to be, but don't get all down and think like, well, if you're somebody who you love dies and you are sad and you think, well, but they weren't horrible and stuff, then just keep thinking like they're probably just had to leave this part. They're either had to go back to where they came from. The part that they had to play here was finished. So they had somewhere else to go. So either they're going to the Age of Aquarius and they'll meet you up there, or they'll meet you when you pass up. No, because we're not going to pass. We're not going to pass like that. See, the meeting would be the Age of Aquarius. The meeting would be, it's kind of like, I don't know, like how I see it is, it's kind of like they're there right now. Like they're standing next to us. They're right here with you. But it is like, the more you awaken, like how I've said, like the more I see all the time, it's trippy, but it is like the more that we awaken and shift in that vibration, so we can even see passive vibration, then it's like that is the same thing as like the sky opening. It's like you'll all of a sudden just see them. You'll see them there. It won't be like you won't be able to not see them anymore. Because the people who you love and who have passed are around you all the time. I mean, they're not with you every single second. There's always people with you. But, souls can be right there instantaneously. As soon as you think of them, right there. And so it is a part of you, because we're all like connected. But so it's like we'll be able to see them once this, like, it's like when we go through, like we're on the bridge going towards the place that we're headed, and all this trauma and this, it's like 40 years in the desert and all the things and the obstacles and everything, the soul crushing journey to get there, and what we go through and how we grew on the way. And then once we get there and going out through, leaving our baggage behind and moving into that space, that is when everything would be seen. It would be kind of like when the sky opens. It would be that you would be able to see all the other dimensions and stuff. And that could really help people heal, man, too. Man, if they did have people all of a sudden that they thought were gone that were there with them, huh? That's interesting. I don't know. It's like one of those things is like you have to just wait and see. And it's an interpretation of a vision. So, I don't know. I'd be fucking cool as shit though. We're going through this treachery and we're all like, come on, people, we can do it. We can get through this. Fuck those people. They just wanted the worst for us. We can do better. And we're just trudging along, trying to, get there and keep. And then you got all these people who are like, no, nothing's going on. No, I got to go back. Oh, I got to stay here. No, you guys are going, it's crazy. What are you doing? All that whole thing. And we just keep going forward. And then once we get there, and then there's a whole group, like a reunion from when you pass, and you have a reunion and they're all there. And so then all of a sudden, everybody's there waiting for us to complete the task. And because it's the ones on the bridge, the ones that complete the task, they're the seeders. They're the ones that bring the knowledge, bring the information. They experience the pain and the trauma, and they bring it forward as the new information, as the setting of the new way, the new stories, the new, your new Bible, your new, so those are being written currently over the stories that we're going through that bring us to this new place. And so, everybody's got a story too. And that's why I was telling my daughter, you should be, journaling through this, because she doesn't understand. She doesn't know. It's like any of us who are awake, we can see, we can know what's coming. And, these people who were always like, no, not everybody's going to wake up. Well, I wish they would, but I tried and tried. Well, if you understood about how souls work, you wouldn't just keep trying and trying. You understand their soul's on its own mission. It's got nothing to do with your ego. And so the people who, everybody's got, it's just like a lot of different things that people, because it's the people who think that way, they have things that they need to heal. And so they're playing that role so that they can witness that in themselves, so that they can hopefully heal that part of them. But that part is attached to some other past life or something, some other past trauma. And so it is, but these things occurring are supposed to be bringing this stuff up, releasing it, so that we can move forward and let go of this, these behaviors and these ways, because you can't, it's what creates the baggage that you can't move forward with, because the baggage has to stay in the 3D. The only place to work out baggage is because there is no baggage. So if you think you have baggage, it has to be worked out in 3D, because there is no baggage. You can't take baggage when there is no baggage, so it has to be there. So, but there was something else that I was seeing when I was talking about that. Oh, yesterday the thing, too, came to me, of course, as soon as I finished. It was, did I say about the eye drops? Yeah, I said that. That was the day before that I didn't finish. Yesterday, it was another one about, I can't remember now. It was food. It was just more of the same old bullshit. Seriously. It's just all these different things that I'll say, or I'll see, or I'll think, or whatever, and then I'll see stuff about it. This I did not see coming, though. This I did not see coming. And I said before, when all this started, I said, I don't know. I'm going to have a hard time surprising me. But so they did. I'm surprised. And it's Ballard, man. Fuck, dude. And I know, I fucking know this about Trump, man. He did the whole fucking time. He pulled every fucking person up on that stage. Oh, this is my new head of this. This is my new head of every criminal he could get up there on that stage so we knew who the fuck he was talking about. Pulling him out of the woodwork. So I knew that that's how he worked. But I really thought this was... I thought this was really something different, but this is deep, man. This is deep. So, and the movie is supposed to be out this week, I think. Maybe it's this weekend. And there's been so much hype around it. You know, they're expecting it to be like a huge, huge amount of people are going to see it. And then it's going to be the shocking turnaround is going to be, fuck, this is sick, man. This is so sick. Is it? You just, man, I really thought that guy was a good guy. I thought he was really, really trying to save the kids. I've seen his interviews and stuff. And he tricked me. He fucking tricked me. That's for sure. I didn't see the evil behind him until you see the footage. Him kissing a kid. Ew. Fucking nasty ass motherfucker. So apparently he was a big CIA operative, but remember how I said how they go and they find certain people, like they put criminals in place, like they funnel people around. It's energetic, like they're looking for certain people, certain kind of minds or something. So I guess he was taken in. He had, I think, 4 essay charges on him from kids at the time. And then he's on all the lists. He's not allowed to be near him. He wasn't allowed to be near him. He had, in his, what are those pictures called when they go get arrested? The mugshot. So his mugshot, he doesn't have any hair, so he's more skinheadish, and so he has these charges and whatnot. It's the same fucking name. So they hide stuff, like they hide information about people, or they bury it and stuff. And so I don't even know all this. Like, the people who are finding this stuff out are getting such hate back because, I mean, as soon as we find somebody we want to put on a pedestal, it's hard to wrap our heads around. This is going to be a huge thing that so many people have got to go through, is wrapping your head around somebody you idolized, somebody you looked up to, that they were evil. And so he was I don't know, CIA. We got taken into the CIA as an operative. He was like really high up or something, and so good at his job that then they decided, well, let's just, we're gonna, you go ahead and start a whole foundation. Go ahead and we're gonna have you not work for the government now. Now you have a foundation. And you're going to go, and this foundation is going to, so you can zip over here, zip over there. And then when you see, because he's being interviewed one time and Trump's sitting next to him, and this might be really recent, and he was asked some questions. And this is one thing, too, is what has been a part of this whole thing. These interviews, he's getting them in questions. These are like getting them on tape, putting with their foot in their mouth, saying stuff. So when they go to their tribunals and stuff, you've got all of this stuff. Like, they've said this, they've said that. You've seen this footage come out. Like, well, he said this. Well, then he said this. Well, then he said this. Like, so that's why, so that they can show. So there's evidence. So they got to bring all these people on the main stage. So Ballard is sitting here telling these stories. And then when you are listening from the perspective of him making this shit up, then it's like, oh, I hear it now. Fuck, man. Before I thought he was just kind of excited, kind of a, excited kind of guy. He's doing good work, Now it's like, oh my God. But you watch Trump's face at that interview. Trump, it looks like Trump just wants to fucking puke. It looks like and Trump makes his kind of faces all the time when he's next to these people. Like he's just fucking disgusted. Like, you rotten motherfucker, I know what you've done. And I can't fucking say it right here, right now. But I'm going to see you go down, and it's going to go down hard. And I can't wait for it. And that is the thing I like about Trump. And he's got, dude, he's got control over himself. Because sitting next to some of these people with what he knows, oh my God. It'd be like, you want to just pull out some fucking, whoa, fuck you motherfucker. Like, fuck. The nasty ass people he's had to shake hands with, like, gross, man. Like, fuck, some of these people you don't even fucking want to be in the room with these men. Oh. So, Ballard he's the top. He's the top. He was the one who was getting them and selling. Oh, man. So that's why they make a whole goddamn movie to show, so we can see how horrible this stuff is. And then the guy who they're pretending is the savior is really the one who's doing it. This, fuck, man. This stuff is, this is going to knock some people socks off while this stuff is being exposed, man. It's fucking horrific. I'm not even going to watch that movie. I mean, I already know the stuff going on. I've seen enough footage. I've fucking seen footage of the traffickers coming across the borders and little kids on the ground, knocked out with tapes, their mouths all taped and laying there. They drug them and stuff. And then, people don't think like these kids are scared. They're ripped out of their families. They're stolen. They're taken. They go in these countries. They make storms. And then when there's chaos, they go in and sweep through and just steal all these kids. They're the first ones on the ground to get there. Those people who were the first ones to get there in these natural disasters are the ones taking them. They're the ones who are running through, grabbing as many as they can before their parents are found. So that they use all of this stuff. They use war, storms, natural disasters. Which, how many of the natural disasters were natural? Was the Haiti earthquake fucking natural? Like, fuck. Who knows? How many kids that, there's just nonstop with how many of them that they take all the time. And there's, I mean, you got it. Like, people got to see, the use. What would be the use? Like, how would you need so many? That's where it's going to fall back on the people. Is what is going to be gross. It's going to fall back on the people, on the consumption. Well, what are we supposed to feed you? You fucking a bunch of hungry, ignorant, dependent, like how they look at us. They feel like that, well, what are we going to do? We have to. But you could always just tell the people, go make your own food. Hey, people, we can't supply your food. Go grow your own food. Get your shit together. Take care of yourself. They don't do that, do they? No. Because it's something more sinister. And it's weird, too, because they take them for their own amusement. It's amusement. You take them for their amusement. It's like, life is so boring. What can I do to amuse myself? Yeah, little kid's screaming his head off as I fucking slice all his skin. Yeah, that sounds like a good time. That would make me feel alive. Like, what the fuck with these people? Fuck, man. But the amount of kids, and this is where, to me, it's like, it's been all of these darker skinned kids and poor kids and kids that came from other places and stuff like that. It was So many. Like, fuck, man. Like, how much of these people have we eaten? God. So gross. When you really start putting the numbers together, like how many kids go missing, how many cows are missing, how many chickens, like, well, we know what we're eating. There's fucking not enough of the other stuff. Like, how many cows could there be? Cows can't have another cow that fast where they could keep up. No, that's why they have the fucking breeding clinic, housing facilities or something, where they use these women or young girls like dog breeders use bitches in heat or whatever. They just use these bitches and then they use them up and then they discard them. They just, there's some of those breeders, they'll just shoot them in the head. They don't even fucking care. There was one in Spokane, and it was an English Mastiff one. And but the other corrupt breeders run and get them. But this girl who had been just used by this guy to just pump out babies, you know, especially because English Mastiffs are expensive. And so the people who do that, God, it's so corrupt. God, people just, it's hard to not judge. It's so hard. That is my challenge for sure. This is the part where I am learning and trying to really grow and expand myself, is to really, every time I find myself wanting to go into judgment, to try and see the other side of this person and see, you know, I mean, I don't know, they're playing a part, they're trying to learn and grow and all of that stuff. It's just so yuck how much stuff just plays out in such evil, and in being in the experience, being in the spacesuit, the bodysuit, and how you feel pain and stuff, like you feel. But is that the part that people try and keep themselves cut off from? Why they don't want to go deeper? Is there a part we need? Like maybe I'm too deep into the suit or something. I don't know. Is it people are just up in the surface? They just stay. But it's weird because when you stay up in your head, you would think, where they say, oh, these people just stay up in their head. But if you stayed up in your head, you would have to at some point be reflective, wouldn't you? Unless you're just constantly spinning out on stuff. You're never going into any kind of deep thought. You're never thinking or asking any questions or anything. You're just constantly like spinning out off of your vision of how your eyes see things or something. Like, I don't know. Because it seems like if you were in your head a lot, you would be forced to be faced with the conversation. But fuck, man, I know people who think like I'm a complete nut because I say that there's people talking to me. They, you know, and this is how I feel like that they get people thinking that they're nutty, thinking that they're crazy. It's like, I know I'm not, you know, I've been talking to them since I was 3 years old. So you know, not, schizophrenia doesn't even start happening when you're 3 years old. So I know I'm not crazy. And I've had a long relationship. Fuck, I'm going to be 62 in a couple of weeks. It's like almost 60 years relationship with these beings that have been talking to me. So, yeah, I'm not going to fucking... I know I'm not crazy, but I can, you know, to me, it is kind of too where it was like there had to be some of us that came in that knew we weren't crazy, even when we were talking to people who weren't there. Yeah, because so many people think that that is ridiculous and that you're just trying to fractal or fracture your own thoughts and give them to somebody else to validate them or something. It's like, no, that's not it. No, I have things that they say that I don't even fucking never would have even thought about. Never even come into my mind. And then I've become dependent I guess, on them as, when something is confusing to me, like I've used them for waking me up when something's lost, if something's confusing, like, everything. Tell them to wake me up at whatever time. We'll wake you up. You can tell them, like I can sit and say, where is something? They'll show me where it is, and they'll tell me where it is. Usually they'll show me. They'll show me in a picture in my head. Will flash where the thing is, and then I'll go and find it. And then that one time that I was talking about, that time where they kept showing me and I couldn't figure it out, and I kept being like, but they kept showing me this suitcase, and I kept thinking, no way is it in that suitcase. And so I wasn't looking. I just kept thinking, okay, it's up here in this storage part next to the suitcase, but it was in the suitcase. And once I looked in the suitcase, I was like, fuck, man. And it's one of those things. That's why I'm like, it's a fine tuning, because they're always telling me. I just don't always listen. It's the same thing as like when I was 3 years old and I didn't listen. It's the same thing as when they told me about the goddamn tape and the adhesive and I didn't listen. It's like they're always talking. One thing I have caught so many times with myself is I'll do something and then I'll be like, oh man, I can't believe that. And always, well, we told you that was what was going to happen. And it's like, okay, yes, I got to fucking fine tune this shit. I got to listen more. And, it is like kind of like going on autopilot. And it is kind of like when I'm crocheting, I'm sitting here and I'm just like, I can't stop. And, Stella's like, come on. And I'm like, I've got a conversation going, okay, just put it down. No, I can't stop, and it starts being this whole thing of like, I've got to pull myself into following orders, and it is the same thing. It's like, and it's subtle, it's whispering, and it's easy to not hear. It's easy to override and to, there's a lot of noise going on all the time. So it's easy to not hear. But I think if you start noticing, you'll start seeing that it is all the time. They're always trying to tell you something that is better or will benefit you or how you can see things. You don't have to make every single mistake that you make. Sometimes they tell you things so you don't have to make it. Like, I could have just listened about the tape. I didn't have to go in and actually experience it. I could have just heard what they said, and because it made sense. And then, but it still, I had to go in and do it, and only took a couple hours. It was fucking, it's sore too, like, literally. And when you're pulling in this skin and it does not want to come off. And it's like, oh my God, what in the hell? Why did I do that? And they're always, I swear to God, they're very much like, I told you. So, but to me, it is that relationship is because they know what I'm trying to learn. I know what I'm trying to learn. And so it is they try and help me as much as they can, but I know I'm trying to fine tune the listening so that it is being more very tuned in. It's like having somebody in front of you who is it's like having a scout in life. That's what it's like. It's like having a scout who is scouting out everything for you ahead of time and then letting you know. But if you're not listening to him, then you have no idea. And so to me, it's about fine-tuning that emphasis on the scout who is, knows everything ahead of me, that can report back to me. And so it's kind of like in a time of war, the general gets a report, the general can make the choice over what to do. So it's like the same with you. And like, I've made the choices like they've told me, I've still made the choices, even while I'm sitting there taping the whole thing on my face, and they're sitting there, expressing to me about the adhesive and but I was like, I wasn't acknowledging it. It was like I was kind of ignoring it. It was like I could hear them, I could see them, but I was still overriding them. there is an override. So, like, you can't override them. Although there's so much where I feel compelled. Like, they just, and there's so much where they're relentless. Like on a TikTok video, like, and then yesterday was another day, I swear to God, I did 25. But every time it's like, it will be going, it'll go fast too, but they'll only go up to a couple hundred. And then it will stop. Some, though, they won't even let go at all. And yesterday I was like, because they took the sound off of one. And so I went on to see why they take the sound off. And so I went to check and what I was talking about, what they're trying to hide. And it was, of course, what I talk about here, like, what the food, why there's so many missing, and what it is to make us be a part of their crimes in the consumption of, with our endless, what is that? Is veracity, but it's insatiable. That's how they see us, insatiable consumption. It is kind of like a spit in our faces over what they give us to consume because of how they find us so disgusting. And it is like, how many of these people are really, is Rockefeller really just an old fucking reptile thing or something, Like David Icke has said, all those fucking royals were reptiles. So maybe all of the, maybe all those people, the Bilderbergs, the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, all those people, maybe they're all fucking reptiles, I don't know. I definitely, I think that they don't have the same feelings about, like, but they don't care, like, how we feel about losing and loss and pain and suffering. And so, and it's just sad because people don't know. They're feeling it, but they don't know it's created. The thing that is just so sad to me about people is that they all just turn it on themselves. They all just think something's wrong with them. Everybody just thinks something's wrong with them, and that they are, everybody kind of has this outlook that they are yucky, and they're kind of hiding themselves. Is it like a way to protect themselves? That's very ego, isn't it? The ego's got to protect itself from hiding itself. So they got to put on that fake persona to go out into the world that they think it would be acceptable. But this world isn't real. It's fake. So they made these personas to fit into something that was very toxic. But still, there's a part of them that is attached to those roles, those personas that they have to clean up. Like they have to purge it out and heal it. And, that's why it all has to go. But, and I don't know what, all these things. Like, I really hope my daughter does journal. I would really like to know, like, what it's like, from that point. Like, those of us who woke up already, like, we're going through it from a different, it's all different perspectives. And so we're all looking at the same experience through different lenses. So we get, like, the full view. So we have all different expressions of the experience through the viewer. And so it is a curiosity as to how, when this all happens, when they all start seeing, especially because so many of them. So many of them have been told. Like, I've told my kids a million times. Like, I didn't ever think it was going to go this far at all. I thought this would have already happened. But I have been telling them for so long, like, be prepared. The world is going to flip upside down for you. Everything you thought was real is about to turn the other direction. And you're going to be really shocked. And I've told them a bunch of times, don't worry about the things you've said to me. Like, it's going to stress you out a lot. And don't worry about it. I'm not taking it personally. And they're always like, okay, okay. But they just don't know. They don't know and how bad they're going to feel about sitting there, saying I'm crazy. And because that's what the soul is there to face. is that side of themselves, that bitter, hard, mean, cruel, uh, those sides. That's what people are trying to purge out. So when somebody gives you an opportunity to find that in yourself, you don't want to hide from it. You don't want to just go get drunk. Oh, I don't want to deal with that. Oh, I hate when I have to think about that. Well, because you need to release it. And once you release it, then what was that? Oh yeah, the tidy whitey guy, the guy in the fucking pride parade out there jiggling his junk in the kid's face. It was so, God, it's the grossest. Oh God, just reminds me of the pedos and stuff that I encountered back in the 70s in their tidy whities, and then just his whole gut and the way he's out there grinding and twerking and all those kids sitting there. And there's other people, like a lot of people have seen it. It's disturbing. It was so disturbing as of these kids sitting there while this old man is in his underwear, dirty dancing for him. And the parents are all just standing there. Like, proud moment, parents. Like, and then, so you can see when that really hits the parents, when the parents see, because it's like the same thing as what I'm saying is like they were sitting there telling me, and I'm putting the tape on my face, and then I had to rip it off and see. So it's like those parents all have to see. And once they see, like, it's not going to be the same as just like having a sore face. It's going to be a sore in their soul to know that they did wrong, they did bad. They're going to judge themselves, and they're going to see, like, and they're going to feel abused and groomed and disgusted with themselves and stuff. It's going to be a lot, and some won't be able to go through it. Some won't be able to face themselves. They're going to feel too shitty about themselves. Some will get themselves sick, give themselves cancer, get themselves into a position to be the victim. There's a lot of people in this world, instead of facing things, they become a victim, because a victim gets sympathy and they feel hurt and damaged inside, because most people feel hurt and damaged inside, but they don't want to. They want to hide that part, because to hide that part is weakness, and nobody wants to be the one who's weak. Everybody's got to just, but the weakness is turned into toxicity. Like our relationships and stuff, have just become toxic. People are toxic to each other. And there's no way to fix that until we actually heal, until we actually make changes. Otherwise, we'll just continue, trying to get things from people we shouldn't try and get from them, and give things that we don't need to give. We need to find ourselves balance, and ourselves in a state of, what is that word? Homeostasis, like a homeostasis for the soul, like in the purest form of balance. But how do you know you're out of balance unless you can see the things, unless you yourself sees where it's like, to see the two poles and see where you need to find yourself in the balance, your comfort zone, how you feel. And how you feel is based on your information and your knowledge at the time. So don't ever feel bad if you change and you're like, well, I feel this way about it today, but next week you may feel totally different about it. Some other information, like the Ballard stuff. I thought Tim Ballard was a good guy. Then I start seeing this information, all this evidence, and it's like, fuck, dude, that guy's one evil motherfucker. Like, god damn. You come out and talk about this stuff, and you're the one goddamn doing it? Like, that's what I mean. It's like, just laugh in our faces, And this guy is like, you think of him as being like the Jeffrey. If all this evidence is true, I mean, and then there was stuff that they said that Mel Gibson has some 4-part series thing coming out. Mel Gibson's pretty religious. He's not spiritual. He's very much turned it over to the man. But he talks about corruption in the church. So I don't know what this 4-part series thing that's going to come out, but it's supposed to be some profound thing. But so is this fucking Tim Ballard thing. So fuck. This is part of disclosure. And I don't know on this part of the disclosure. So this part isn't just the movie's disclosure, but the people who the movie's about are the real criminals. So that's part of that disclosure. So I don't know on Mel Gibson's thing. But so now people are saying that he is also bad. But before, a few weeks back, they said be prepared because they're going to start attacking Mel Gibson because he has this big documentary of disclosure coming out. So they're going to start saying, don't listen to him. He's going to start bringing out these tapes of him yelling at his wife and stuff and being drunk and all of the crime and all of his drunkenness and shit that went on. And so that is going on now. They are doing that. So, but I don't know, because they're even saying Jim Caviezel is somehow involved. It's like, what? What? Like, that was the whole motherfucking thing where David Rodriguez went out on his goddamn rant there. He became famous was because him and Jim Caviezel are such best friends, and Jim had disclosed so much. Like, they would talk about the horribleness of Hollywood. They would talk about all of the gross out stuff. And then Rodriguez was real triggered one day, and he thought he was talking to his group, his following, his people, but it went live and it went viral, and everybody knew who David Rodriguez was after that because he was given full-on disclosure about all the stuff that people were hearing about. And so, and his best friend is Caviezel. And so, but now people are trying to say he's involved. So, I don't know. I mean, I can swallow the Ballard thing. Just seeing how Trump sit next to him. And then when you listen to Tim talk with the idea of him making up the stories, of just trying to just listen to the stories with a different idea of listen to him talk is, man, that interview. But then the footage that really got me was him with the kissing that kid. It's gross. I mean, it's gross. Oh my God, it's like, it's like a adult passionate kiss on a kid's mouth, but it's like a short one. But it's not like I'm full on makeout, but it's the whole way he moves his mouth. It's not a kiss that you just, like if I go up and give my, even the grandbabies, which, oh my God, they are so cute right now. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, they are cute. They are so, both of them are so fucking cute. And the one that was the preemie, he is huge. He's only 4 months old, and he's as big as the one who is 7 months old, and he's in the 95th percentile. So the youngest one, he's giant. He's so fucking cute. And the other one, he is just like, he is an adventurer. I can totally, as soon as I saw them next to each other, I was like, oh my God, I could totally see that the one, the big one, he is going to be, because Ziggy is the little one. Ziggy is the older one, and Emery is the bigger one. He's the younger one. But you couldn't tell he was going to be bigger when they were little, because he was really tiny. And so then, but now he's grown into his own. He's big. But he always would be sitting there, and he would just have this look in his eye where you could just see he is really thinking. He's really thinking, and he's doing it quietly, like he's really absorbing shit. And the other one is he's more extroverted, like, oh, I'm going to go try that. I'm going to go try. He's just climbing on things, jumping on this and all that. I was like, oh my God, these two boys together are going to be trouble. Like, it's got one who wants to try everything and one who's trying to think of everything you can try. So it's going to be like, woo, that is going to be something. But oh my God, they are so cute. Oh my God, they're cute. And they're both just yakking away. They're not saying, like, Ziggy can say dad, 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 dad. But they're just chattering, chatter. So they're going to be talking in no time. And I keep saying, like, to my one daughter, like, babies are so advanced. And she just doesn't see any of this stuff yet. Like, and it's funny because she was out of the super spirits, the TikTok spiritual community. And it kept thinking, I was whack, people talking to you, okay, wackadoo. And so there's so much stuff that the spiritual community just is oblivious to. And so there is going to be like, uh, I think she'll see. It's like they don't understand the spiritual part of life or something. It's weird. Just like, like I talk about my person. And no, I'm crazy. They can't even wrap their heads around, they don't understand soul connections. They don't understand like soul stuff and everything. Well, that's spiritual journey is trying to understand your soul's experience life through your soul, and understand things on a deeper level, go more internal. And so anyways, it's going to be interesting to see just in the awakening thing when they realize really what is going on here on this planet, and the really spiritual, profound thing that is happening in this evolution of mankind. And for them to see, yeah, babies are being born that are more advanced. They aren't it's a new breed of baby being born. And it is like, so take it like the seeders, like those of us who are in the experience, and we're going through the experience. But then the new babies being born, see, they're not going through the experience, but they have a new attitude, a new way of being. They don't have the same kind of veil. It's like, I feel like those boys know more about what's going on here probably than we do. And so you have these new beings being, I mean, see some of the footage. It's crazy. I mean, like, we've got all these savants out there. Like, I saw this little 4-year-old just going on the drums, going with this old 70s song. It was like, oh my gosh. I've seen kids playing pianos, kids singing, like, it's crazy. So we have these really advanced, like a whole new breed being born. But us, the people who are here, we're the seeders. We're the ones who are like writing the recipe. But then there's a whole new, it's like all new ingredients. We're getting all new ingredients. So it's not going to be like these saying like right now, and I don't mean this in a mean, horrible way, but it's just a true statement. We've got a lot of damaged goods, a lot of kids that are very damaged goods, things that a lot of trauma that they've gone through that they didn't need to go through. A lot of, I think a big problem is the superficial, and how many parents and families were, became a part of the superficial, but the soul as a child being born, it has that distinct like, wait, they know they're not supposed to be doing these things. And so they have this fight in themselves right away. But the parents are so groomed and so caught up in the system that they don't even have the awareness that the kids are having this spiritual battle inside of them. And then they're cutting them off and telling them God makes mistakes and cutting them off from their spirit, which even is more confusing. So we got a bunch of broken kids that are going to have a lot of, they'll go through it easier than a lot of the parents, because a lot of the parents are going to have a lot of pain and shame due to the choices that they made that affected other people. So they've got to heal a lot of that stuff. But a lot of the kids, they'll be able to process more because their soul knew, but everything in the outside was going against what they knew. So they'll be able to resolve, but it's like got to be reprogrammed. And it'll be vary in degrees depending on how they were programmed in their families. But then the new kids who are being born, see, it's like the new fresh, that they aren't damaged, and they won't be damaged. It won't be like the same. They're not going to be programmed and indoctrinated in the same way. So it's like this whole new batch is coming. And then those of us who are going through this, the seeders, the ones that are crossing the bridge through the pain and the trauma to get there, see, they bring the information, they bring the recipe. And so, but it is, I can see it. I don't know if that is making sense, but I can see how it works and how, everything all goes together. Like this all goes together. There's nothing that is happening by accident. There's nothing that is happening by mistake. It all is a part of the same. It's a fluid experience. It's a fluid, uh, everything it goes, it's all running in the same river. And so it all goes together. And so, I don't even know what else to say about it. I'm talking. You know what's weird too is it seems like the longer the video, the more people want to watch it. It's like the shorter ones that people don't want to watch. But I don't know. I mean, it's something is gonna go. I mean, they didn't have me do all those old videos for nothing. Like there's gonna be a lot of people. Like it's going really slow right now, but there's going to be a lot of people who are going to start being in search for sense. That's what it kind of, to me, is kind of like people are just trying to make sense of things. And so going out and listening to other people try and make sense of it, because the only sense you can make is inside of you. Like you can't do something that will make sense to me. I can't do something that will make sense to you. The only sense, the only peace that one can find is through themselves. But, it's like you need resources and reference in order to find your own peace. But so many people instead choose fear and go into fear. And so then they just, is like a spinning out. And now there is people who are more on my wavelength, who are out there who are getting kind of angry at the people who just keep spinning out on fear and being like, this isn't where we're headed. This isn't what's going to happen. We are headed to this other thing. This is all happening just to heal and to grow so people can see. So, I don't want to go in and get in altercations with these people on TikTok, but boy, it just keeps being more and more. And, but to me, it is just, I'm just going to keep saying it on here and talking on here. And next week, next week is going to be, like chaotic. So, and if I don't post anything, something like this is even making me nervous, even going up to it. I swear to God, I cannot believe how many times I've thought shit was going to go down. And then I'll have some trip up ahead. I'll be like, oh, well, it probably won't even happen. Surely it's going to happen before that. Then here we go. It comes to my trip. And it's like, motherfuck. Now, okay, so I got to make sure I've got, because you can get trapped out there. The gas stations go down and shit. But then I got to be like, okay, if that's what goes down, that's what's supposed to happen. I'm supposed to be trapped out there somewhere if that's what happens. So, but it is definitely nerve-wracking when it moves up towards this. But so my son-in-law is supposed to be here Thursday, sometime Thursday evening or whatever. And so let's see, today's Wednesday. This fucking burping thing. So then tomorrow I'll video. So that'll be Thursday morning. And so I don't know. I think he probably gets up earlier. And plus we were going to try and do this porch. We're going to try and do this work on this porch because I've got so much water damage. And so he's going to try and help me with that. And so then, so I'll have company all weekend. And as soon as he leaves, I'm leaving at the same time. And then I got to go over to Spokane and go paint my mom's a mural on my mom's building. So I was going to paint that. And then, of course, I got to visit everybody. And so if I don't record, like I'll try and record, but it's always hard when I'm around a lot of people. And so for one thing, I like to be present in the moment and not be like, superficial and I got to go, I know I haven't seen you guys, but I would rather go, talk on my phone. Usually I do that is if I'm just by myself. And usually I'm by myself at like 3 o'clock in the morning. So that is where I'll just have to see how it goes. So if I don't record, then that would be why. It would be just because I was way too busy. And then I'll get back to it as soon as I get home. But if something big or significant happens that I see, I'll still try and like go live or do something like that. It still seems like going live on TikTok, because I don't even know about the going live on. It would be, seems like it would be harder on YouTube, because there's not as many people on here that follow me. So I don't know. But so if but the other thing too is I even tried to go for a walk the other day and go live and show how crazy it looks in the forest, and it wouldn't work. And then I did some videos, but it was like the videos just didn't show. It's not near the same as when you see it in person. But there was no service. So that can also go down if something starts happening, when I can't go live because there's no service. And then out here where I'm at, no service can be, anytime. So I can't even believe how much I've had service through all this stuff. So anyways, we'll just see how it goes down. But I will record tomorrow. It's just after that I'll be having company and there'll be a bunch of people around. So I'll do what I can. And I will, I'll do what I can. So I probably won't be able to sit here and just talk for a couple hours, but who knows? Maybe, I can't put any limitations or expectations. I got to go with the flow. And that's what we all need to do, is just get in sync and go with the flow. And, don't try and set too many rules for yourself. And all the rules that they got us to set were not good for us. There's so many. I've heard people say brushing their teeth less, their teeth got better. So is that the same thing? And think about the hair thing. Another thing that they showed me was a horse's tail. We don't go around shampooing horses' tails. We just brush them. And so trying to get that into your head about your hair is like a horse's tail. That's what, to me. And so, but is it the same thing? Brushing our teeth all the time, is it stripping stuff up of our teeth that make them have more problems? And that we didn't, all we needed to do was do oil pulling always. We didn't even need to, maybe brush them, because they do get where they feel like filmy sometimes, So, but all the soaps and the detergents, it's the soaps and the detergents and the carcinogens and these chemicals that stay in your body forever. Those are the concerning things. So, but it's the same thing with the eat 3 times a day. And then people just kept doing it and getting fatter and fatter and fatter. So, and at the same time, they're even making food be worse for you and make you fatter. And people kept just eating more because it was, they couldn't, nothing was making them feel full. Nothing was making them feel like that they still had that hunger. But they also put stuff in the food so that you continue to have the hunger. Plus, they put the parasites, so the parasites, oh my God, this place, this is, it's like so much. So anyways, but if I'm not, they're talking just, I've got lots of videos and it's always the same thing. Just trying to build people up and, get you to not be scared and to see the real purpose here and to really focus on your purpose. And so, there's tons of videos. That's one thing. Yeah. If I'm not here, just go back and watch the other videos, because, they do talk about some of the things that are going on in current events, but it's always the same kind of things about, looking at things differently and trying to see the part that you need to see so you can heal, and recognizing the things that you need to heal, and not pushing people away, but bringing, but setting your boundaries. It isn't just bringing the people in and just being in your toxic relationship development, but it is setting boundaries for yourself. And you got to know yourself to know what your boundaries are, and you got to do it in a kind way. That's one thing, is people, just are so clumsy in the beginning, and they're kind of mean about it and vicious about, oh, it's my boundaries. You better do what I say. It's my boundaries. It's like, you don't have to be that way. You can just be, oh, well, I don't want to talk about that anymore, so I got to go, or whatever. You just have to know your boundaries. And then when something comes up against your boundaries, to put yourself out there in a vulnerable way and stand up for yourself and just walk away. It's not like you have to go to blows like, hey, that was my boundaries, So anyways, those are just things to think about. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.